Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Tom's podcast here today with the same three people that were here last week. It's me, Alex, it's Richard on the left, it's Adam in the bottom. How are you?
Yep. Happy to be in the bottom,
Happy to be the bottom.
Yeah.
As you can tell, we're all in quite lax clothing because today the UK was hit by blooming Eunice. I had the...
Well done.
Jude Law's back.
He's back.
For those of you that don't know, I just hit the pause button on the recording. So there was like half a second there, just got cut out. But there we go. Yeah. Obviously this week we're doing Paddington 2. A bit of it more interesting. Paddington 1.
2? I thought we were doing Paddington.
Oh, for God's sake.
we are doing Paddington 1.
So confused then.
Sorry, I only woke up like 3 hours ago, so I'm still kicking into drive a little bit. The
sheer panic on me and Adam's face, then we were both like, Paddington 2, what?
You were both like, we don't know Paddington 2. We're ready for 1. Don't worry, because it's Paddington 1. Yes, there's been no other news really in the world to talk about this week again. It's been quite a quiet week. Nothing's going on. LFCC next week. So I don't know if there'll be a podcast or not. There'll be a vlog the week after. And that might be a lot. It depends if I can.
I won't be at LCC, unfortunately.
Well, you'll be part of the vlog though.
Yes.
So it's a whole weekend thing. And it'll just be Adam on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday just bombing it and probably taking the camera and recording bits that I don't know. And then when I look at my phone, then there'll just be clips of Adam saying random stuff. I'm trying not to swear in this podcast because this is about a children's film. So I'm keeping myself on censor levels high to try and not swear. Because this is very much a children's film. But yes. Are you looking forward to LFCC, Mr. Mamoon? That's really weird then. Yeah. Mamoon. Your name's not Mamoon.
Yeah.
Mamoon.
No, I am. It's, the con's are always fun, great atmosphere, great people, and, cool to see the stars, meet them. I say shake their hand, but, COVID and all that kind of thing. Bow to the people that you look up to. So, I'll be bowing to every single one of these.
Don't bow.
Why not bow?
Why would you want to bow?
It's a royal bow. There's nothing like a good royal bow.
There is. But by the way, people keep asking what's in the top right of the screen. It's a glove. There you go. Nothing too special.
That's answered that question.
The mystery is ruined before it even began.
Well, sometimes my wallet's up there, and sometimes I have like other things. But this week it's a glove. There we go. Richard, are you looking forward to next weekend?
I am. I'm not going to LCC, obviously, because it just sort of I didn't have enough notice to sort things. And then I've ended up on holiday that weekend anyway, so I'd completely forgotten about that. So I just didn't really plan it very well. And then obviously we're going to stuff on the Sunday, so that will be fun.
You've missed Jodie.
Yes.
Are you a bit sad?
I am really, because she's sort of been on the list of one to mate.
Do you mind that on Sunday that me and Adam are going to be like Nelson from The Simpsons, just be like, ha ha, as we got our pictures, we're like, ha ha, and we'll just sat there like, yeah.
Oh, I would never do that.
Adam can recreate the time I ran past him at LFCC with my tenant photo. Just randomly, even though we've already been in each other's company for an hour, just randomly decide to run away and then run past me.
That LFCC was bonkers though, wasn't it?
It was.
Like, it was.
I worked that one, didn't I? And we only have so much time to go and get our photographs done. So I literally was running back to my area as I ran past Adam. Was like, I've just met David.
I don't know. I sound like a dog there. Again, this podcast sort of.
I thought it was like a Chewbacca.
I know. I would never do that to Chewie. I'd just say the word McClunky.
McClunky.
Exactly. Whenever there's a podcast with Adam, we've got to try and get the word McClunky in there somewhere. But what was I going to say? Who are you meeting at LFCC, Adam?
Well, I'll be meeting Jodie Whittaker. I'll be meeting Matt Gill, And as of today, I booked this today. I'm going to be meeting Bernard Cribbins. So
we got the same. We got the
very
same
nice.
3 then. We got the same 3.
yeah, I decided because I was waiting to see about the schedule, and as of the podcast recording today, the schedule went up, and I thought,
I don't understand
everything
it.
looks fine. I can book Bernard.
I don't understand it. Also, can I just say, because I know he does listen to the podcast and he enjoyed last week. Reese, we hope your power's back up now. If you don't know, Guy Forever 97 has been hit by Eunice, and he is currently using candles in his house. So we wish you luck for all our sakes, as they say in Five Doctors.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he should be back. It was really awkward as well, because he was gonna help me understand the schedule, and now then his power went down, so I don't really get it at all. There's like so many different batches and times. Sometimes there's multiple times with the same person. I'm like, where have I got to be? When is it? So he's going to help me figure that out and all that kind of jazz. The smooth jazz.
Smooth jazz.
Smooth jazz of Reese
I've also got to try and remember.
AKA Gallifrey Forever 97.
Yes. I also want to say a bit of a thank you for 200 subscribers on the YouTube channel. It's I think I was recording on 204 now as well. So it's the growth is still there.
Nice.
So we're getting there. Soon we'll be at Reese levels, and then when we overtake him, we can laugh.
Just where you get to 300. If you get to 300, would you review the movie 300?
Only if you did it with me.
Yeah, sure, I'll do that.
There we go.
Oh, for 200, you should have done Planet of the Dead.
The movie 200.
No, Planet of the Dead, because the boss is number 200 in that, isn't it?
That is true. That is true.
I don't intend on reviewing Planet of the Dead until it comes up in the spinny random selection thing. And God forbid,
Spinny random selection of doom.
For a second, I thought you were about to say what a spinny random selection thing. I'm about to say that shows how much you listen to the podcast, because our Doctor Who reviews are based on random spinny selection wheel of death. Hence why we got Time Flight in 2 months.
Time Flight.
So Adam, we are meeting the same 3 people at different times, though. I feel like your batches are much earlier than mine. I don't really understand how the batches work, though. I'm essentially going to be like a lost puppy at LFCC going, help me, when do I need to be there? What time is it? And it'll be like,
you'll be fine.
Okay. Yeah,
we're usually pretty good of like explaining, like shouting the batches and stuff like that. And obviously for stuff like that, I can't remember whether they have like a whiteboard at the end of the queue so they can say which batch is currently going in. Yeah. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've crewed them.
I think they do submitting photographs.
I saw that Jodie Whittaker had like a 2-hour stint in the photo booth. Like, Christ. That's pretty heavy.
I mean, I think I've said it before that the time I crewed where it was PCAP, he must have in the space of the Saturday alone done over 1,000 photographs of people.
Jesus.
And in every single one of them, he was literally the nicest man. Like he made sure everybody got a little bit of interaction.
Could definitely attest to that. Absolutely.
That was also the same day that I was in the booth. I was working in the booth, that booth, when they announced David Tennant, and I didn't hear the announcement. I just heard this, and then this scream went up, and I was like, "What's happening?"
It's like the apocalypse had started.
Because you could hear people running towards the sales desk.
It's like Mount Vesuvius has erupted. Running. Yeah. Well, obviously, this is my first NFCC, so I'm very excited. I've got quite the weekend planned. Obviously, Richard, I'm seeing you on Sunday. I'm seeing Ad on all 3 days. It's an Adam and me triple threat.
I know.
It's exciting times.
Yeah.
We're going to get Nando's on Friday as well, so that's exciting as well.
That is true.
Ages. I think I'm having Nando's on the Saturday with my friend.
Nando's.
I already know my order in my head as well, because I have the same thing every time.
Do you know what? It's going to be one of those things as well. I can tell on the night before LSEC, obviously, you got to get up quite early in the morning. It's going to be one of those nights where I don't fall asleep. It's like 3 a.m. And then when we're 6:30, 7 a.m. alarm goes off, so I can have a shower and all that sort of stuff, I'll be like, why? And after, what have I done? I'll be like, washing my face. Like, I can't look like a dead, I need to make sure I look all right in these photos. I can't look dead tired, bags under the eyes. I've got to get a coffee or something to get my body in the, right frame of mind. And then the adrenaline should kick in. I should be all right. What are you drinking from the mug, Ad? Is it like a tea or is it?
Actually, it's a bit of Lemsip. My throat started to get a bit raspy, so I thought
You've not
just a
got
bit
you've not
Lemsip.
got you've not
Just
got the
treat it.
Rona. You've not got the Rona.
No, I don't think it's the Rona. It's just one of those things that comes and goes, really.
Where did you come from? Where did you go?
Yeah, that's it. That was Cotton Eye Joe. I halfway through the week I met Cotton Eye Joe, and that's how I got this raspy throat.
Better fit in for Cotton Eye Joe.
Yeah.
He's been married a long time ago.
We can't sing anymore because copyright will come and strike us down. But yes, we spoke about Peter Capaldi. Speaking of Peter Capaldi and speaking of films, we are reviewing Paddington. It's a bit of a fun podcast this week because it's obviously busy weeks ahead. So I thought I'd hit you with a fun one. We've obviously got Endgame coming up and stuff, so it's going to be the bigger podcast. So I thought I'd cipher it with a bit of a fun filter podcast, which is a fun film. But Adam, considering you have definitely seen this movie in the recent history, I want to let you explain the plot of Paddington.
So we start in Peru. We have the aunt and the uncle, Aunt Lucy and Uncle Veru, I want to say.
No, that's Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Pastuzia.
No, that's totally happening. It's Paddington's Star Wars crossover.
Pastuzia. It's Uncle Pastuzia.
Pastuzzi, yeah.
Pastuzio.
Like Susudio, like Phil Collins. Yes, I got a Phil Collins reference in there. I'm so happy.
Jesus wept.
Yes.
Continue.
So we start off with Peru, and we can take it from there.
And you will. What happens next? Keep going. This is fun. You'll do it.
So things happen. Paddington ends up in London, and he meets the Browns, and that we know Peru's lovely, and gives you the wholesome goodness. But when Paddington meets the Browns, it's electric. Hugh Bonneville and Ben Whishaw across from each other at the table at Paddington's train station. It is absolutely electric, and he gets taken in by the Browns, and a whole lot of hilarity ensues. But there's Nicole Kidman, who is evil. She is like, out for the bear. She wants to, she be evil, and she's out for the bear, and of course has a sort of accomplice with Capaldi, who's quite fun in that, and sort of has a crush on Nicole Kidman's character, but she kind of rejects it. She's like, no, Mr. Curry, no, So
you ain't getting any of this sunshine.
That's absolutely correct. I feel like I want to explain these movies badly because if I explain them well, then
I'm
what's
just
the point?
looking at Richard right now. He's trying his best not to just crease at the top corner. I just clocked Richard's face, and then suddenly I just saw him like really trying to hold back, just laughing. You okay, Richard?
Yeah. I was listening to the very good rundown of what happens in the film.
There we go. That is the plot. Yeah.
While also trying not to fidget too much, but trying to also not look like my screen is frozen by just going the whole time.
There we go. I'm also, don't worry, guys. I have told this week that just nodding to everything I say will not be allowed, and they will have to contribute to conversation. So just go in.
And I
thought we're never allowed back.
I thought before we go any further, it is Nicole Kidman's the villain, not Hugh Grant, because obviously we had this confusion.
Oh my God, Adam Mamoon, why are you here? Adam Mamoon, why are you here?
The baddie in number 2.
Can I say before this, like I said, Adam, you watched it. He was like, no, it's fine though, mate. It's one of those films that's in my head, ingrained. I can talk about it, even though I haven't seen it. Who's the villain again?
I didn't ask who. I was just checking we were reviewing the right Paddington.
How do you not know the difference?
Well, Nicole Kidman is the bad guy in the villain in the first one.
She is
Hugh
the
Grant
bad
in the
woman.
second one.
Hugh Grant in the second one. Yeah. She is the evil taxidermist. Which, by the way, let's talk about that to start. Let's start with that. This is a really dark plot for a film. Like seriously,
Really,
It's really
for a family-friendly film. It is pretty.
I watched this and I went, holy amazeballs! This is a really, really dark.
And Nicole Kidman, I must give credit to Nicole Kidman as well. She's having an absolute ball in that film.
Yeah, no, she's actually having a great time. I think the main thing is that it's the perfect, because obviously there's a thin line in family films where it could go a bit too over the top, and I think it suits the tone perfectly. That she is a bit off her nut, and she's a bit obviously not with it as much. But the fact of the matter is that it's a really good performance. I think it's really good. The fact that she gets to bounce off Capaldi as well, who is just the most kind of creepy kind of, obviously just wants to find a bit of love, but comes across a bit kind of strange and uses this opportunity, but actually he turns good at the end. He plays that character really well. His accent's a bit dodgy. I love Capaldi as an actor, but all I can hear is the 12th Doctor doing a dodgy Cockney accent. Maybe that's because this podcast we love Peter Capaldi, and we think
was he still doing the Doctor at that point?
Before, wasn't it? It was before. This is 2011.
I think he might have filmed it before he did Doctor Who, but it came out I think just after his first series.
Yeah. So this would have been before, because this is 2014, and the second one's 2017. So this is 8 years old now, guys.
Jesus. Doesn't feel like it's been that long.
No. I only saw these films for
number 3 finally filming this year as well. At some point.
I don't know. Adam is our Paddington specialist, as you can tell.
We're finally getting another break.
I got these films in the back of my mind.
Yeah. They were right at the back of my mind. So
can we do a little VAR? I think you're telling lies, Sunshine. Who's the villain of this one again?
Yeah, I've just got to be sure. Jude Law's just a villain of life.
If it's announced that Jude Law is the villain of their Paddington movie, I'm saying.
Could you imagine? We'd lose our marbles.
I think we'd all be like, it's sick. But yeah, there we go. So Adam, what do you think of Nicole Kidman in Paddington?
She's great and villainous.
Was there a
what?
The car horn.
No, that's Nicole Kidman.
I don't know if Adam heard it, because I don't think he's got his headphones on. But
it was Nicole Kidman and Jude Law.
It was just a car horn. This is who started speaking. Every time I try and get some semblance of stability in the podcast, something has to come in and just shift what's going on.
You're welcome.
Yes, there we go. All right, let's try this again. Adam, what did you make of Nicole Kidman as the villain in this film?
Yeah, she's great. I like, I think she gives a great performance, and
Adam, sorry. I don't know what's going on, but Richard laughing makes me laugh.
I think you got to let it out. I think we just got to give it a while.
Let it breathe, Richard. Let it breathe.
Oh.
You okay?
It was just the car horn thing has just completely sent me off. Oh,
you okay?
I feel like you need to cut that and just do a 5 minutes later.
No, I'm keeping that in. That was hilarious. Right, take 3. Ad, what did you make of Nicole Kidman in the film Paddington?
I think she slips into the role really well. I don't think, this is Nicole Kidman as just a villain. I think she sort of really slips in. I think I can't do this.
I don't know. You know those things. You don't know why you're laughing, but now I think it's just the attempt of Adam trying to do it every time, and I'm expecting it to go wrong, and then when it didn't go wrong, and he started actually doing it, that just set me off as well. Okay, Adam, yes. I swear to you, 4th time lucky. Go.
Well, we are in a
I'll close my eyes so I don't look at Richard.
this is all right. So if I do this the fourth time, I might break out the time loop. Right. Nicole Kidman in the movie is really good. I think she slips into the role very well. I feel like, she brings to life this kind of villainous persona as this taxidermist, and I think like the accent that she has in this movie is actually really well done. And honestly, I don't know if I really have much to say. I don't think she's in. I think out of all the characters in the movie, I don't think she has as much screen time or goodness to talk about compared to the Browns, which we'll talk about later. But she for what she has in the movie, she's very good.
Yeah, I think, like I said, she's the perfect sort of balance of that campy kids villain who is very over the top and very evil because she hates animals. I like as well that she's got those really over the top plots of her dad, obviously, who was the explorer in the beginning of the movie, which is a decent reveal, by the way. It's not a reveal that you can really, it's not one of those obvious reveals. I mean, obviously, being adults, we can kind of pick up where the film's going, but in terms of, I think for a kid, they'd actually be surprised by that. It's sort of like the Spider-Man Homecoming reveal, if you like, with Liz's dad being revealed to be the Vulture, and us going, oh, okay, didn't quite see that being the route they were going. But
because you just think at first she's just after him because he's an animal. You just think that's why. But then obviously it becomes clear that she's after. At some stage in time, her father tried to get his auntie or his uncle.
Yeah, exactly. I do like as well that the explorer is played by Danny from Toast. That's that on the rewatch that came to me. Obviously Clem Fandango's partner in Toast of London. That is the explorer. So if you guys have never clocked that before, next time you watch it, you'll realise, oh, that's him. But I feel like neither of you have watched Toast. This is a really pointless.
Toast.
I watched highlights.
Richard, you literally put in the chat yesterday, Matt Berry alert, and you've not even seen.
Yeah, because people in the chat like Matt Berry.
Are you not a fan? Are you saying this on podcast?
I just haven't. It's just one of the many things that's on my list to watch. And I've just not got around to.
Richard is not a Matt Berry fan, confirmed. He doesn't like Matt Berry.
Richard Orr is cancelled.
Oh no, you're not cancelled.
Somebody that's not.
But to be fair, he's done more than Toast. If we go back.
What is your favorite Matt Berry project, Richard?
I'd have to say the IT Crowd.
There's somebody at the door, and it's Jude Law.
There's somebody. He's probably. Yeah, well. No, to be fair, Moss probably is my favorite character. But
I'm so sorry for anyone watching this who doesn't want to talk about Matt Berry. I came here to watch a Paddington review. All they did is laugh, and now they won't even talk about the film.
Imagine if Matt Berry's in the third one.
Oh, he wouldn't be the villain. Oh, he would be the villain though, but I wouldn't want him to be.
I mean, if he pops up in the Book of Boba Fett, he can be in any show, any franchise. I'd rather say.
Oh, Richard Ayoade was in Mandalorian, was he not?
Yes, he was.
There you go. But yeah, I do like how over the top the backstory is for like the explorer getting shunned, and they're like, "Explorers, turn your back," and this sort of stuff. And it's like he could have been a millionaire, but instead he decided to be a nice person to the bears. All this kind of stuff. I love how overly dumb that is and sort of how vengeful it is at the same time. I think it's brilliant. I just love a classic, old-time sort of fun film. I think this is exactly what this is. I've got, this is a weird thing about both these films, so Get Out of Paddington 2. I have nothing negative to say about either of these films. I think they're both perfect, to be honest with you.
I think the filmmakers... Oh, sorry.
I think that what you were saying about the turn your back on him, it's a very sort of, because it's Simon Farnaby that writes him, so it's very sort of in his humour style as well, because he's obviously in Ghosts and Horrible Histories and all that sort of thing. So it's very in his sort of wheelhouse of that sort of odd humour.
Oh, absolutely. And, the good thing about films like this and other British films, you get like just some amazing British cameos that just pop up. One that I don't find particularly funny, but I know kids will, is the Matt Lucas role in this film. I just find it really over the top of it.
What, as a taxi driver?
Yeah, I just find it a bit. That's just me. But
I'm surprised because he's there to drop off the Browns and he sort of comes back into it again. He's like hung upside down by Nicole Kidman.
Yes.
Does she cut his thing or does he get let go? I can't remember.
I
think he
watched it
gets
like
let go.
I watched it an hour ago, and I can't
Oh
remember.
my word!
Because if he
Well, Adam-
dies, that's dark.
Yeah,
Adam,
I don't think they
Adam-
went that far.
Adam, I came prepared, but believe it or
Did
not,
you?
we were recording an episode of the podcast on Paddington. I went, do you know what? I'm going to watch Paddington today.
You came prepared. Paddington 1 or Paddington 2?
Both director's cuts as well with
It's
commentary.
the perfect binge, isn't it? If you were to watch Paddington 1 and then go into Paddington 2.
I feel like because as well they're not that long. By the way, I did only watch Paddington 1. I did not watch Paddington 2 today. I didn't have time. But I think they're both wonderful. They're both the same crew, so they feel like they could just sink in, and you can watch them both kind of back to back. They're fun as well. This film moves at a click. Like it's not boring at any point. It's always fun. I think Ben Whishaw is amazing in the role. To be honest with you, I think throughout, he's even at his age, he's got this wonderful kind of, how to describe it, sort of boyish sort of tone to his voice. So when Paddington speaks, you can believe that he's sort of this youthful bear. And Ben Wishaw's not really changing his voice all that much, to be honest with you.
No. But it's weird to think at some point in time as well that Colin Firth was doing
That's right, yeah.
Paddington, wasn't he?
Mm.
I can't sort of imagine Colin Firth as Paddington at all now.
Not especially not this version of...
No.
Was Colin Firth meant to be doing this, originally meant to be the voice in this film?
Yeah.
And it wasn't that, it was during post-production, wasn't it, that it was announced that Ben Whishaw was taking on the role instead, I think.
Why would Colin Firth want to leave?
Reading the articles about it.
Why would Colin Firth want to leave this masterpiece?
For Kingsman.
Oh, was it Kingsman, was it? Did he get...
Well, I know that came quite soon after, so who knows? I think there were creative differences, to be fair. I think,
how could you have creative differences over this perfect bowl of a...
It's Colin Firth.
Screw Colin Firth.
Is he on the list of Jude Law?
He's with Jude Law. If you don't like Paddington, you're on the list of Jude Law.
But then at the same time, if Colin Firth hadn't left, we wouldn't have the genius that is Ben Whishaw doing the voice.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, no, but we can't, that doesn't mean that Colin Firth still is wrong. He is wrong. This is a wonderful movie. You should respect Paddington. But yeah,
it's just I think it's one of those that you can stick on and bar the second one, which the ending makes me cry every time.
Yeah.
Like, you just know you're in for something that's going to sort of make you feel warm and cozy.
Yeah.
And give you a good couple of hours of your day.
Do you know what this is? It's going to be a totally irrelevant comment, sort of, and it's only going to really matter to people that know me, so you two. But now I've been to London a few times. I can watch films where like, oh, I've been there, instead of London like being like this magical place that I've never been to before. And being like, oh, is that really London? And all that. So like when they're in Paddington Station, or that, I'm like, I recognise that. That's that's sort of like it's a little thing, but you go, oh, that's really cool.
Oh no, I get that entirely. Anytime I sort of go to particular things, if I'm suddenly like, oh, I recognise this. Oh, it's from this film or this TV show that I've watched, like Last Night in Soho.
Yeah.
Like sort of walking around Soho and then spotting the toucan, I was like, it actually exists. It's a real place. Because I always just assumed that was just like some sort of front and then a couple of sets.
By the way, don't worry, younger listeners, we're not going to go into Last Night in Soho on this podcast because that'd be very dark. It'd probably give you nightmares. Don't watch Last Night in Soho. But you're probably going to do the opposite.
Last Paddington in Soho.
No, God. Matt Smith kills Paddington.
Dive.
Matt Smith kills Paddington.
Well, there's that Twitter. I wonder that Twitter account that does the things where he randomly inserts Paddington into films, doesn't he?
Yes.
So there's like the
show the Uncharted one.
One day he'll do the Last Night in Soho one.
Wait, did they put Paddington in Uncharted?
Yeah, he's hanging off the crates, that sort of plane bit, and he's sort of hanging off the thing.
Nice. I have to say though as well, obviously in this film we get Michael Gambon and is it Amanda Staunton?
Imelda Staunton.
Yeah, Umbridge herself. Right, that is Umbridge. Yeah, that's not. I'm not making that up. I got that correct. Yeah, wonderful. Prestigio just gets killed, which is really dark as well. It's really, this film starts off really quite dark for a kids' film. I think it's rated a U as well, which is, I don't know what they were. I'd say it's a 15 minimum. Just for harrowing. It's quite harrowing.
For all the blood sports and the gore.
Yeah, this film's quite harrowing.
Finally goes on the rampage and
he goes off the rails.
Typical teen.
Jesus Christ. I think that's just an interesting beginning, to be honest with you. I like how it starts off with this old timely British thing of whenever you come to Britain, you'll be loved and that sort of stuff, and then actually we find out that modern Britain is not as lovely as it used to be. Actually, it was never really that nice, to be honest with you. But hey, we're not as nice to each other as we used to be anymore. So you get a bit of social commentary in there as well about how maybe we're too wrapped up to be nice to strangers. However, though, to be fair, I'll give credit where it's due. If I saw a talking bear, I'd probably go the other direction.
I'd be the opposite. I'd go and say hello. I'd say, "How do you do?" As where you know. Well, I won't ask where you're off to, but I'll say hope you have a safe.
Where are you off to? I'm getting off a slough, mate. Oh, me too. Yeah. Oh, great. Come sit down, mate. We'll play Mario Kart on the Nintendo Switch.
You just got to believe, Alex. That's what you've got to do. You just got to believe.
I've got to.
Well, the stuff in it as well. Like I watched it before Christmas with. I was over in Belfast with. Visiting my friend, and their 78-year-old was like, "Oh, I want to watch." We were flicking through Netflix, and he was like, "Oh, can I watch Paddington?" Because he'd never seen it before. So we watched it, and that bit where Paddington sort of gets it into his head that they don't want him anymore and leaves. So you have all those scenes where he's like walking around on his own, and their son was just sitting beside me, and I turned around and he was crying, and I was like, "What's wrong?" And he was like, "I'm just really sad that he thinks I don't want him," and he was just sat there in tears, and it was really sad.
Oh, jeez.
It's. I mean, I don't know. I assume you both have seen this. You remember in Lilo and Stitch, the first one, the actual movie, right? You know the bit where he's got the book, the Ugly Duckling book. He goes at the forest, goes, "I'm lost." That's a terrible Stitch impression, by the way. It doesn't sound like that, but that makes me cry every time. I'm just in tears whenever he goes, "I'm lost." But yeah, no, I think this one doesn't make me cry as much as the second one does. Paddington 2, I guarantee Rich will be here talking about it, probably crying, because it's such a beautiful. This one as well.
The last couple of minutes just completely, like it just hits you like a train. I will
say this, although I've said that this film is essentially there's nothing wrong with it, somehow the second one is better. I don't know how to describe it because I don't dislike anything in this film, but somehow even the things I like more in the second one.
I think because by the second one they're all settled in, aren't they? Those characters by the second one, so everything sort of has slotted in. And there's even what I like about the second one, going back to it, is there's a couple of like different neighbours that we hadn't seen before. So you've got Jessica Hines in the kiosk and stuff, and I love all that sort of like the community around him has sort of expanded in the second one, and I quite like that.
Obviously, I feel
like I need to.
Oh God, what you saying, Ad?
So I feel bad. I just had an epiphany. I feel like I need to give a car shout out to Julie Walters as Miss Bird, who at the end of the movie knocks out the villain, just like kaboom, and also gets drunk with the security guy.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, totally. She's incredible. I mean, Julie Walters is one of those actors that you can rely on to do sort of any role, and she'll do it. You could probably get her to try and play a child, and she'd probably try her absolute best to make it funny as hell. You know what I mean? This is one of those people. You go, Julie, we need you to be a Scottish old lady who likes to drink. Okay, yeah, that's fine. And she just smashes it out the park. Like she's incredibly entertaining. It's still. This film is so visually funny as well. So it doesn't just rely on dialogue. There are like little bits where you get obviously it's after the bathroom scene that she's really good at fixing things, and she just gets a blowtorch out. And you're like, this kind of lady with this book we've not seen much of. You know, just think of a blowtorch essentially out of nowhere, and all sort of stuff. But I will say as well, a thing that I kind of forget happens in this is sort of the story. Obviously, the second film is literally a storybook, but in this sort of the storybook presentation of this film. So when Paddington's explaining the family, we pull out of the house, you can see all the floors. Kind of like, I don't know if any of you have done this, but when you used to play The Sims as a kid, and you could get like the floor plan view, you could see every room in the house. I love those little visual notes there that they do and how they do it. I think that's really, really good, to be honest with you. But yeah, what are your favourite parts of the film? Go on, Ad. You've seen this film recently. You can name specific moments, can't you?
I like there's a funny arc with Sally Hawkins' character. She's sort of trying to imagine this kind of macho kind of guy, and then sort of at the end, it's like, oh, it's sort of the picture's complete. It's like it's Hugh Bonneville. She's like, oh yeah, that's cool, and just like
surprisingly, it's not her husband. It's just the actor Hugh Bonneville who's been compared to for years. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, Mr.
No,
Brown.
I think that's fun. I also like as well. There's obviously a bit of concept. I will apologise. This was rated PG. I'm not surprised. I think 15 would have been more accurate, but PG is the limit that I think it's okay. I will say though, I do like as well that essentially before we became a dad, Henry was like this massive sort of like adventurous playboy type. You see them get, when she's like pregnant, about to go into labor on the bike, and they're like, woo! And then like as soon as he's come out, he's got this beige car. It's like the most protected thing. I think someone's got flowers. He's like, get the flowers away, you have a pollen allergy and all this sort of stuff. So he actually has a really good arc in there as well. And like Hugh Bonneville is another great actor that they can just kind of rely on to just kind of do anything. I feel like it's one of those actors as well that's kind of up for anything in terms of like roles he'll take on. He doesn't really stick to sort of one.
If he hadn't been playing Mr. Brown, when you listen to his voice, he actually would make a good Paddington.
Yeah. And why do you look so perplexed? Did I say something wrong?
That's a hard stare.
That isn't in this film.
It's not.
That's in the second one.
It's not in the first one.
I
I'm sure it was in the first one. Is it not?
I'm sure, yeah. I think they're in the lift.
In the cafe in Paddington.
Well, the lift might be the second one. Well,
yes, it is. Yes, right. Let's move on. Don't do that at home, kids, by the way. Oh, God. Okay.
Well, the hard stare or like knocking.
Well, you could do a hard stare all day long. Paddington is a great role model. Just don't put toothbrushes in your ears, please.
I can't watch that bit. It makes me just have to do that because it's no.
Especially as well because of how grotesque his earwax looks as well.
I can see it in my head now, and it's making me a bit.
Yeah. Other things to talk about though, I think as well, just the family dynamics, really fun. Again, this is a podcast where it's a lot of fun to do because we're essentially just going to say things are really good. There's not that much discussion. It's just us going, this is a really fun film. If you've not watched it, check it out. You could be 54 years old and you'd still enjoy it. Believe me, it's so full of warmth and joy that if you don't enjoy it, then I think you need to maybe reevaluate your life choices because it's one of those films that. Look, mate, Rotten Tomatoes doesn't lie. 97% and 99%. And remember, by the way, whoever took that 100% away from Paddington 2, I will never forgive you. No. Paddington 2 was the top rated film of Rotten Tomatoes.
And force you to eat marmalade for the rest of your life.
And it got taken away. I'm actually going to read the negative review now, if I can find it. Somebody gave it a rotten review.
Jude Law.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
It was, Jude Law. Just so you know, people, the guy, it was from Eddie Harrison from filmauthority.com. I thought it was Adam. Be prepared because you.
It's like Jackie Weaver. You have no authority here.
You might get a bit upset with this comment. He put an ellipsis as well for emphasis. The charm is entirely missing from the two Paddington films.
Is that all he said?
There is a full review. Do you want to read the full thing out?
I thought it was one sentence, and that would have made me incandescent.
Okay, I shall try and read this out. Okay, we'll have a little bit of a light reading session. When I was 5, my mother took me to see a statue of Peter Pan in London. I was excited to see the character I knew well from Disney comics, dressed in green, glowing light of Tinker Who Cares. Okay, so when it was announced that Paddington Bear, another much beloved fixture of my childhood, was getting a makeover, I shivered at the prospect. What would they do to my beloved bear? Hang on, I don't care. I want a review of the film. for Paddington 2, a few choice elements are added up to shore things up. Hugh Grant sends himself up as a professional and regarding actor. Where's your review of the film? I reviewed Paddington 2 negatively for the BBC Radio on 2017, released multiple occasions after that. I stand by every word of criticism. This is not my Paddington Bear, but a sinister, malevolent imposter who should be shot into space.
I actually take that as sort of, they're joking. I actually don't think they genuinely
from space
believe that.
At the first opportunity, overconfident, snide, and sullen, that this spanky-looking bear resembles a little relation to the classic character, and viewers should be warned. This ain't your mama. Yeah, it is. He doesn't. This ain't your mama's Paddington Bear. This ain't your. And you put yo mama's.
Hashtag. This ain't your mama's Paddington Bear.
That's hilarious. But it's still got rid of the 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. So you shouldn't have put it on there in May 2021. How dare you? But yeah, back to the film, I suppose. They're both wonderful and perfect. I think the family dynamic's good in this one. I think the younger characters, obviously, because they're older in the second one and they can act better, get more to do in the second film than they do in this one. I think at this point, they're kind of just the moral compass of the family to be like, but we want Paddington. Versus, obviously, Hugh Bonneville being like, yeah, but he's a bear. Go. I also like in this, there's like little weird comments like, oh, like when they get off the train, oh, it's a bear. He's probably trying to sell something. What goes on in this universe as to where bears?
Yeah, it is sort of. I like that sort of. A talking bear is just normal in their sort of universe. They don't really blink an eye at it. Whereas in another production of it might have been like, oh my god, that bear's talking, run, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas quite like that, it's just it just happens to be a talking bear.
Yeah, I think as well. It's really just there's some really good like British bits at the point of where he's got the old British police hat on and the whistle in his mouth, and the coppers are like, oh, there's one of our officers need help. He's been obstructed or something. He's in a hot pursuit, and he's actually trying to give his robber's wallet back. And it turns out that he saves the day purely by accident, as well as I can't believe also put a Willy joke in this film, which is weird. I never thought they'd get that. When obviously when he
that's why it's a PG.
Yeah, just for the Willy joke and the harrowing, and it's very harrowing. But yeah, it's again obviously when he's like flying up with the is it a balloon that he's on? What? How does he fly up in the air again? Oh no, it's the dog lead. By the way, right? I don't mean to be dark, but that dog that she's currently, which is on the bus, and that dog must be dying because he's holding on to the lead miles and miles and miles away from where the dog is. Now, I don't mind about the suspension of disbelief for how long this dog lead is. Maybe we know the owner's very overprotective. Maybe it goes all the way to Slough or something.
That's true.
But the dog must be getting choked or something. For Paddington going like up in the air, and then he gets his little Paddington hit on a satellite dish, and it's all very sad. But he saves the day. It's all pretty fun. You get some nice little, young child angst with one of them wanting to be an astronaut and the other one wanting to obviously has a boyfriend, but she doesn't want to go to the mother because she's socially awkward, and she goes to the mother, she's going to show her up. There's some nice things there, and Paddington, allowing them to show their proper colours and stuff. It's a really good film. It's hard to explain. There's nothing bad about it at all. Even the animation's really good. Like the like the scenes in the rain, slick.
Yeah, they've done it looks like they've taken their time to make sure everything looks as best it can, instead of like sometimes you feel like when it's that sort of adaptation of something, you sometimes feel like it gets rushed out a little bit.
Oh, totally. Yeah, you watch it and you go, but this, something doesn't feel right, and they're interacting, but they don't feel like they belong in the setting that they're in. They feel a bit off. Whereas here, Paddington, obviously there are cartoonish elements to him because he's a cartoon character, but overall he does feel like he belongs in the environments that he's in.
I do like that we also at some point in this one, I think it's this one, and we get like the old style, like the cartoon I remember as a kid. There's that like brief bit where you get like the old style Paddington stuff briefly, and I always
Yeah.
like that sort of thing, like the
Yeah,
nod,
doesn't-
the tipping of the hat to the previous version.
It does
Yeah,
like the
obviously
stuff
because
so
he gets the blue coat and the hat, doesn't he? And he puts it on. It's like it's like an Avengers suit up moment.
Yeah, it's hero moment.
His hero moment. It calls him. Yeah. I think overall, just the films are just impeccable. I can't wait to do Paddington 2 down the line at some point. It won't be in the near future. It'll be when there's a dead week of nothing coming out. Thankfully, there's a lot of stuff coming out post February. For like January and February are just really bad for releases. Like it's terrible having a podcast in Joe. There's no Marvel TV show to talk about. There's no Marvel film to talk about. There's no good films coming out. There's nothing. You have to wait till the summer. All the blockbusters. Jurassic Park 6. I've not even seen anything past Jurassic Park 1. But
I am so excited for Dominion.
Mario, the movie or whatever it is, with Chris Pratt. Hell yeah.
we got the
I
Batman in
remember
a
the
couple of
previous
weeks.
version, so I'm not holding out too much hope so far.
I'm Batman. It's 3 hours
I've
long
had to
though. I don't
rebook
know if
mine.
I don't know if I can be arsed now. It's 3 hours long.
You can do
I've
it,
had to
Alex.
rebook it because I'm now in work on the day it comes out. But weirdly, and I don't know whether, I was saying this last night, I don't know whether because it was shot in, some of it was shot in Liverpool, we're getting like an IMAX screening on the Wednesday night, no, the Thursday night. And I don't know whether that's because they shot stuff in Liverpool or not, or whether it's just a random like IMAX screening at 7 p.m. I don't know. But yeah,
It
so
could be
I'm
a part
seeing
of it,
it
yeah.
on the 3rd. No, I managed to get one of the last seats in IMAX. So that'll be fun.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just. Yeah, I think overall it's just no. But we'll get to the Batman. It's about a very different film. I might be with Adam for that one. Who knows? I don't know who's going to go watch the Batman. I notoriously don't like Batman films though, so we'll find out whether I like this one. I like Matt Reeves, so that gives me some hope.
Yeah, he's very good.
He is very good. He did those Planet of the Apes films, which got better and better each time, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
More of the Planet of the Apes, generally, I never thought I'd cry over the death of an ape. I'm going to be honest with you. And it was really sad because
That was, yeah.
I remember actually this different story. It's animal related. We've gone from bears to apes. I watched that film on release day with my college. And it was really cool. They were
Wow.
like, we're going to go take you release day for free to go watch Planet of the Apes. And I was like, yeah, let's go. Sick. And not like nobody else, because they were all like, what would you be after you leave school? 16 years old ish.
It's fun that Andy Serkis is coming. Well, he's Alfred in this movie, so you have that team up again.
He is, yeah. I always feel bad for whoever Alfred is, because obviously I don't think anyone's going to beat Michael Caine ever.
Or even Michael Gove.
Michael Gove is Alfred. Just having a party all the time.
Indeed.
But anyway, we're not going to get into politics on the Paddington
Alfred and
podcast.
Paddy.
Alfred and Paddy. But yeah, is there anything else we really want to say? Sorry, this podcast is really short. I just don't know. Have we hit every nail on the head of what happens? Or
I think the filmmakers just love the character and love like the books and the material. I think just their love and passion for like Paddington and Michael Bond's books just like exudes in every single frame. And as Rich is saying, sort of trying to make it look good and get everything right and make you almost feel like you were reading that, take you back to when you were reading those books and take you back to a time to like the wholesome, very just wholesome and wonderful stories of those sort of the kind of original source material. You could definitely tell pretty much from every performance from every crew and making this movie together, they really want to give you the feels, and it's wonderful.
yeah, I could agree with that. I think it's for those films that when you watch it, you never, again, there's no part of it where you're like, it's the, sometimes you've rewatched films so much, you go, oh, okay, I don't like this bit, so I've got to wait 5 minutes for it to be, how can I describe it? Like, whenever I watch Avengers Endgame, right, I love the film, I think it's great. but because I've seen it so many times, I always kind of get a bit bored in the scene where Tony and Cap are at like Camp Lehigh. There's like 5 minutes slow down of the pace. It's sort of like, oh, we get through this, please. We get to the cooler bits. Whereas with this film, obviously it's significantly shorter anyway, but there's no bits where I'm like, oh, I'm really bored right now because either the dialogue's really great or how it looks is really great. It's visually stunning. The colors exude off the screen. They're brilliant. I think overall, there's nothing to dislike. It's just one of those films you watch and you go, yeah, I enjoyed that.
Paddington's half the length of Endgame.
And not as good. Paddington 1 and 2 or Avengers Endgame? What would you pick?
Paddington 1 and 2.
Paddington 1 and 2.
I'll go Avengers Endgame just to be a bit different.
Okay.
only because Avengers Endgame is my favourite.
Who are you and why are you, Jude Law?
Avengers Endgame is my favourite MCU film to date. So I find
interesting.
I know some people prefer Infinity War, but I'm not one of those people. I like a happy ending. What can I say?
I mean, Tony dies.
Yeah, but no, I never liked him anyway. Boo, 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 Tony Stark.
Oh my god!
It's all about Paddington replace Tony Stark as the leader of the Avengers. That's what Secret Wars is about. Who's a It's not Skrulls. It's who's Paddington and who is Jude Law. Jude Law will be back in Secret Wars.
Talking of Marvel, I don't know whether or not I caught, because apparently they were filming somewhere last week in St. Helens, and they've been filming like Leeds and stuff, but that new Samuel L. Jackson thing.
That is Secret Wars.
It's Secret Wars. I think I saw some of that being filmed as I went past on the train in St. Helens the other day.
Oh, wow.
Because there was like a load of like very snazzy looking film gear and like this like not industrial estate, but like it was like factory floor sort of thing, but it's like all like the big pipes and everything outside. So the sort of thing you could imagine in like a Doctor Who episode as like a new planet or something. But who are you
calling a big pipe?
I'm not calling anybody a big pipe, except for Jude Law.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jude Law is a big pipe. I'm so sorry, Jude Law.
Hashtag Jude Law is a big pipe.
Hashtag Jude Law is a big pipe. Had to be said. I'm
just glad it's finally out there, that I've finally told people that Jude Law is a big pipe.
About Jude Law being a big pipe. As it goes, on that note, I think as we wrap this one up. Thank you very much to Rich and Ad for joining me. Obviously, you'll see them again next week on the London vlog. Ad's probably a lot more so because he'll steal my phone and try and hijack it and say weird stuff. Whereas I feel like Richard's going to be much calmer and just be in it and be nice.
Just be going like that somewhere.
Just nod. I guarantee Richard will laugh at some point. There'll be the director's cut of Richard just laughing for like
just 10 minutes of me lying on the floor laughing
in time fracture, just middle of the show. They're like, do we call an ambulance? We're like, no, this is what he does. He'll be fine.
Is he part of this? Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Is this normal for him? Yes. But anyway, thank you guys so much. You can follow Rich at Ricky, or you can follow. You can also follow him at Meg's Ponto Boys as well, and you can follow Ad at Beer Can Batman. I do find it weird that I call you Rich. I don't know where it comes from. I call Ad. I will call Adam Ad. I don't know why I do it. Just call you Rich. Isn't it?
Rich is fine. It's one of the weird things. I don't mind Rich or Ricky did it, but I hate being called Rick. I don't know why. I'm happy. I'm happy that you're okay with Rich. Otherwise, I
thank you for letting me be on the podcast, Al. It was a pleasure.
See, Al, I find weird. I don't. Do you know what? It's going to no sense. I call you Ad, but I'm like, it's 4 letters. Just say the full thing. But I just,
that's what I'm saying. Because I just think of Big Al's Toy Barn and Toy Story.
don't compare me to that. How dare you?
Don't compare me to that alien.
How very dare you. But you can also follow the podcast at the Timeless Pod, and you can follow me on Twitter, AlexKing_Dom. You can also click on the link tree on Twitter, and you can go to all of our places at Spotify, Google, Apple, and of course YouTube. And we shall see you next week with something as well as a vlog, maybe, or it will just be a vlog. There'll be something out. So yeah. See you guys all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.